The Pacific Rim forces ceased their pursuit at the outskirts of Shin-Fong-Chen after their victory in the Shin-Fong-Chen campaign. In an effort to avoid unnecessary destruction of the city, terms of surrender were given to the Hai Shidao side through the diplomatic channels of the WIGPC. However, Hai Shidao announced today their refusal to sign the surrender terms. Hence, a full-scale attack on the capital of Hai Shidao City has become unavoidable.
Gormit Sin's deciding to be a bitch, so now we gotta force him out.
We opened diplomatic channels with them, but the reply was nothing but a brick through the window with the words "lol no" written on it.
All we got was a fax of Gormit Sin's ass with the and then a follow-up image of "suck my dick." So here
it's
we
not
are.
going to work from that angle.
Here we are at the end of the first campaign at Hai Shidao capital, the biggest, most intricate map design that this game provides, and it's quite refreshing to get here too, because this is like, it's been a while since we've had an actual urban environment to go through, not since Mission 3.
No,
No,
urban
we're not.
environments in games like this can always be a bit weird.
Yeah, there's a lot of routes to go in the approach to the Capitol building, and naturally, because of the time and resources, I'm going to take the one path of least resistance. Most of our, pretty much the only real changes to the loadout, because, oh yeah, surprise, we're bringing the Quasar again, because the Quasar's awesome. But yeah, we're ditching the chain gun because we really don't have any choppers to deal with, because, you know, those fuckers are annoying. And we've upgraded our 355 smoothbore to an RF, so we get the 3-shot burst rapid fire ability, because as I mentioned before, the RF version of rifles is generally my favorite to go with. There's technically a higher caliber weapon, even above the 355 that the Quasar has, but I'm saving that for another special unit.
It's actually an entire artillery platform just balanced on your wrist.
Yeah.
It's nuts. Completely defies the laws of gravity, physics, nature, God and man, but damn if it doesn't get results.
Oh, yeah. Hope you like that, because even though we've done 2 startup sequences in 3rd gen VTs, like, we're gonna be going back to the bottom, like, once we start the next campaign. Because, surprise, even though this is the final gen, there's only 4 units in the game that actually qualifies as 3rd. So, and we still have, like, several more to go through, which will be saved, obviously, for the 2nd campaign, which I keep teasing, but I'll explain more about what that is once we finally clear out this whole city.
I guess I'm kind of spoiled by games like Gundam Cross Rays, where there's like every Gundam has like 70 different offshoots that you can evolve it into.
Yeah. So yeah, when I say path of least resistance, we are literally going along like the edge of the combat border.
Just running around the edges and then twatting them in the side of the head.
Yeah. Like,
are we there yet?
No. Even the shot warnings are not a concern for us.
You know, somehow I don't think this was the intended way of doing this.
Yeah, don't think about it. At the very least, we are still going to come across some enemies. It's just not the very hard ones. like we get, like, yeah, look at this. It's just a Vitzh and a couple giraffes. Like, what was your plan, sir?
I think these guys were just planning on hanging out on the edges, being like, nah, we're doing perimeter defense.
Yeah.
Like, nothing's gonna come out here. Ah! Shit.
Yep.
Oh, I have become error.
Oh, poor Vitzh. You try so hard to be of worth to this shitty army. A shitty army that's just, in a dumb political fit, decided, yes, we are going to withdraw from this game's version of the UN and be a bunch of territorial assholes. Nothing could go wrong.
What's that? Brexit? Never heard of it.
Yes, Brexit meets not China. That's basically what this is.
So basically Brexit then.
And this has been your moment of the LP in which we horribly dated with current times.
I'm just saying, I'm not seeing any compelling differences right now, except for the robots.
True. I mean, there's that, and then you could probably make Gormit's whole refusal to actually comply with peaceful negotiations or surrender with just, Trump refusing to accept impeachment or whatever the fuck. It's basically just all of the modern failures of government that we have been experiencing for the past few years, just wrapped up into one in this future.
Even giant robots can't make it cool.
No.
So you just essentially taken out the mechs around the perimeter of the main building.
Yeah, at least on the left side on the approach to the building. Fortunately, at least with something like this, we don't need to destroy every single unit. The primary goal is to destroy the presidential building on that hill, quite literally. It's just that with this, you could obviously see, in the center there were, those big clusters of enemies, and it was a good idea to avoid those. So right now, since we're along, the side and back of the building, we're gonna carefully make our approach up here and, try to, take out any additional enemies that we come across, especially, Regal Dresses and any other VTs that don't show up on the radar. Just because we want to make sure that we get not only a good, safe, clear shot of the building to blow it up, but also a clear shot for what comes after that.
So just out of interest, what happens if you go too fast up an incline? Do you topple backwards, or is it just you're stapled to the ground?
You lose speed.
Again,
it's one of the things... Yeah, it's one of those things that the game does to try and get you to, manage your speed a lot better and, slow down at appropriate times. Obviously, making turns is, the primary place you should be gear shifting down, but you also need to do that for going up hills. And even with Override, with its speed increase, it doesn't, no pun intended, override your ability to go up hills fast.
Mm-hmm. So you can ramp it like the General Lee then?
Pretty much.
Oh man.
Plus it's a good thing because with Override you increase fuel consumption, and if you foolishly tried to do that and you didn't get the speed increase, you'd be wasting a whole lot of energy like a dumbass. But yeah, so we took out some of those Regal Dresses. I'm gonna head over to the right after dropping off this hill to take out a bit more of the perimeter before I go for a supply run, because I want to make sure I have just enough to take out the presidential building and whatever remaining units are trying to get in the way of our escape.
Oh, so it's the mission's not done when we've blown it up then?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of a spoiler, but whatever.
Oh well, sorry.
Video's long enough as it is.
Yeah.
You think I'm gonna spend, the remaining, 10 and a half minutes of this just systematically destroying every VT? What are you, crazy? But no, I'm already down on my last damage lamp, so I'm going, oh shit, back up.
Nope.
I mean, I may make these missions look like I'm a pro, but I'm anything but. There have still been people that have been playing this game for a lot longer than me. Both this and Line of Contact especially. Just goddamn. One thing I do like about the cockpit monitors is that, like, on the main one, you can notice a sort of warping effect on, like, the left and right edges of where the camera is.
Oh, yeah.
It's an effect that I'm pretty sure is still there, like, on the first and second gen, but just because of the bigger screen space you get in third gen cockpits, that warping effect is significantly more noticeable. Which I like. It definitely does highlight even further that you are inside a cockpit and you're looking at a screen that is being fed to you by an external camera.
Yeah. And it's not like the Vitzh, which looked like it was a security camera.
Yeah.
A very old security camera.
Yeah, just look at it through like an old 14-inch PVM that was only given for like for CCTVs.
Yep.
I don't know why I fired that shot.
Yeah, I was like, is there something over there?
No. I wish. Or maybe there was, because there is like a little yellow like marker on the map indicating an enemy, but yeah. I think I was completely off the mark though. But whatever, it's not like tanks have ever been a real threat. Like I'm pretty sure like tanks, APCs, or whatever, like small infantry, like it is impossible for them to actually make a dent. Like,
yeah,
I think
it seems like they're more there to distract you.
The only small vehicles I'm pretty sure that are ever able to actually make any sort of dent in you are the helicopters, because they're actually equipped with missiles.
Yeah.
But here we go, back up the hill. Even if I'm showing like a very small portion of this place, I still can't emphasize enough. This is a really cool map, just in like the size and intricacies.
Oh wow! It just turned into Metal Wolf Chaos for a minute.
This is Mechanized Infantry Troop 17. A large VT transport chopper is approaching the presidential building.
Could be reinforcement. What's the VT type?
Our system does not recognize it, sir. There's a possibility that it's a type we've never seen before.
Data received. Linking to ICS. Image uploading to screen. Now!
So you think that piloting an amazingly powerful VT like the Quasar, nothing could possibly stand in our way? What if I told you there was one VT to triumph still over even that?
It's a Gundam! Nah.
It's the motherfucking Juggernaut. He also
Holy
has a
shit
railgun, thus making it the third out of 3 VTs that gain access to railguns. And as you'd expect, he gets the Haishidao variant.
Oh shit, you weren't kidding about the name.
Yeah.
Oscar 3 here. I read you, Argus. Over.
The BT deployed by a chopper earlier appears to be commander class. Search and destroy it immediately.
I copy. Oscar 3.
So yeah, this is now our actual objective. We gotta destroy that thing, and I'm being extra careful because he is the most powerful. So I'm just trying to get a bead on like which direction he's wanting to move in, so that I can pop out at the right time and get him with missiles and railgun shots.
I'm just trying to bait him out.
Yeah. And it's a good thing that I did like take care of the reinforcements here while I did, because this side has me pretty much safe. I'm pretty sure looking at that shot, he was trying to fire his railgun, but I think it collided with the corner of that of the building. But he's dead.
Oh well, never mind.
Yeah. As you'd expect, it'd be a lot harder with any of the other VTs, even the Prominence, because of how, like, its railgun fires instantly, and that kind of throws a wrench in the whole, like, lock-on trick that I always do to make sure my shots land. But that's it. Yeah. We took down the Juggernaut and the presidential building. We won the war, guys.
Take that, Kitty Pryde.
And just in time for Christmas.
Yay!
No, Steel Battalion is not a Christmas game, just because it takes place, like, the whole war starts back in August. This has been, like, a campaign that has actually lasted for a few months.
The Nicene Council specifically said it wasn't a Christmas game, guys.
Yeah. So yeah, after just storming the Capitol, now we've got an actual ceasefire.
Also, I just love how there's a group called the Pacific Rim Organization in a game with giant robots.
Yeah.
It's like, what did they know?
It was the only way they could include Japan in it. You know why. So yeah, here are the credits. VT designer by Junji Okubo. His designs are killer in this game. Also a military advisor, which is, like, that's really good. Like, there was someone that, like, in the Something Awful thread that, like, would I describe to them about, like, about how the fuel tanks work and that you can jettison them, like, if they're empty or keep them to refuel. And he mentioned that someone on the team must have been, like, an aircraft buff, because of that's how, like, some aircrafts, like, manage, like, fuel and, like, lightning loads. I'm pretty sure that explains it. The fact that they actually got a military advisor for this to kind of help flesh out what is otherwise an unrealistic scenario of warfare fought by giant robots, that they still got someone to kind of look at it and go, okay, but if this was real though, this is how this would work and this would work and so on. Like, yeah, I appreciate that extra dedication to the details in this game.
This is Japan though, so they probably just got some dude from an airsoft shop.
No, I don't know. If Kojima was able to get an actual, like, former, like, cops or, like, SWAT or military advisor or whoever the guy was, like, that they get for, like, you know who I'm talking about. The guy that, like, basically made it so that, like, the guards in the Metal Gear Solid games do their sweeps properly. Like, if that guy exists and had for real experience, I'm pretty sure the actual military advisor they got did have actual, like, experience working with the military in some capacity.
Okay, a janitor and JSDF base then.
I love how much you're trying to, like, not give the benefit of the doubt on this one.
It's just some Japanese guy called Tony.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, this is the first credit sequence, obviously. Because this is the first campaign, they had to give it some sort of ending instead of, like, you know, having you go straight into the second, which I'm going to stop beating around the bush now and kind of explain what the second campaign is, because it's not going to start immediately after this video goes live. There's going to be, like, a brief intermission and some amount of time before, like, you know, I make sure it's all edited properly. The second campaign is, I'm going to say, something of, like, a minor downside of this game. Because what it actually is what feels like an arrange mode. So, like, this first campaign was called Haishi Dao 2080. The second campaign is Haishi Dao 2082, because for God knows what reason, we have to go back to the island and go through this shit all over again.
Haishi Dao 2. Those motherfuckers.
Yeah, and that means, like, even basically, like, the way, like, it works is that you end up going through, like, the same missions and map environments in mostly the same order. The mission objectives do change sometimes, but the map layouts are essentially the same. It's just they'll change things like the time of day, for instance. And it does lead to this sort of, like, feeling of they really did not have the time or money to make a whole lot of new, like, environments and missions, especially because, like, they were able to make some new environments and missions, like a total of 3.
Wow, spoiling you for content.
Yeah. And they try and make up for it with like other things, like you get access to, you know, more VT units, you get to control your own squad, which feeds back into one of the things where I said that friendly AI in this game is not its strong suit, because you now have to babysit a bunch of like 2 units that you're better off just ignoring. Yeah, it's still fun though, and like at least the final mission in that is like worthy of being the final mission of the game. It just would have been a whole lot nicer if they were able to like make it something that feels even more different from this, because on its own, like obviously I feel like if back in the day it would have gotten deducted even more points for like being seen as incredibly short, but just this campaign on its own, from like its missions and like escalation and pacing, I think does it like very well for what the game is and what it sets out to do.
It seems like they could have, at the very least, done like a short campaign from the Haishi Dao side. That would have been simple enough to do.
Yeah, and I feel like at least that concept of playing from the Haishi Dao's perspective is funny enough, like something that they basically ended up having to do as a part of Line of Contact, because, you know, it's a multiplayer game and there's like team-based modes. It makes logical sense that one team would end up being like the Pacific Rim Forces, while the other would be Haishi Dao. Yeah, which, speaking of which, Line of Contact, after this video, the intermission is actually going to be that, because you might think that a original Xbox game that was designed for online multiplayer would no longer be functional, but surprisingly, through the magic of System Link and tunneling software like X-Link Kai, it is very much possible to actually play that game in multiplayer with other people in the year 2021, which I have done, and you'll get to see that for your viewing pleasure. It's an interesting one, but yeah,
that's a loaded sentence.
Yeah, this game is loaded. I mean, you've seen the controller already. You know just how ridiculous it is. I still can't believe, in hindsight, how a game this niche, the only sequel it managed to get was one that effectively made it even more niche, because of how, like, you made something that is so expensive and now you're wanting people to pay an extra $50 a year for Xbox Live to access, like, all this stuff. Oh, man. This game's still cool, all things considered. So yeah, just be on the lookout for when the intermission goes up, and following that, the second campaign, as we go through this mostly all over again. Mostly.